Hello, everybody. This is Jeff at Divine Cosmos, and this is the next installment of my question and answer series. The question that I'm going to address today is one that I've been asked more than a few times by the readers of my articles. And it is one of the big questions that many of us, awakened or unawakened, have asked in one form or another at one time or another. To fully understand the answer to this profound question requires a fairly deep dive into understanding the true nature of reality and existence. So hold on to your seats because this one's going to get interesting. So here's how a reader recently put this question to me. I'm just going to read it to you from the email. Why would a pure, pristine, perfect consciousness like Source ever want to experience the imperfect, painful state of duality and separation? Why would what is already pure love, bliss, and unity want to experience separation, lack of love, and pain and suffering? Why would Source want to experience such an opposite when it is already perfect and complete? This is but one version of a question that's been asked in many ways, but it all boils down to this. Why would we create and choose to experience a separation reality that has so much challenge, adversity, and pain and suffering? Or to put it more simply, why are we playing this game? It doesn't seem very fun. This question is multifaceted, so bear with me as I explore all of its facets. I'm going to start with one part of the question, since the question is kind of a multi-part question. So one part of this question is, why would we choose to experience the opposite of what we already are? Well, I'll ask this question. How does one know what one is if one knows nothing else? How does one know itself as love and bliss and unity without anything to compare it to? I mean, after all, everything is relative. This is one of the reasons why Source and us, because we are Source, wanted to experience separation and duality, to deeply understand and appreciate what we really are through experiential contrast. It's not the only reason why we created and want to experience a separation reality, but it's one of the reasons. And this earthly reality and the state of consciousness that it produces in us certainly provides some very stark contrast to what we really are, which of course is threads of the one Source consciousness. We are all parts of Source consciousness. We are Source consciousness having these experiences. And that's what we are. We are eternal, non-physical, formless consciousness. So another interesting and important aspect of this question is the assertion that Source is perfect and complete. This is a very common misconception, and one that when you unravel it will lead you to a much deeper understanding of what Source is doing and why. Source isn't necessarily perfect and complete. It's a constantly evolving consciousness. And the way it evolves its consciousness is by having a multitude of experiences in a multitude of realities. That's why it created all of these reality constructs, including our own. And that's why it subdivided itself into all these threads of consciousness, us, to have experiences in all these realities, so it could learn, grow, and evolve its consciousness. That's the point of all of this. And sure, through the mind-boggling number of experiences it's had thus far, it's evolved its consciousness into an immensely wise and loving state. But that doesn't mean it's perfect and complete. How can it ever be perfect and complete? It's creating reality constructs from its imagination. The possibility space of existence is infinite. There is always going to be something new to experience. There's always going to be something new to learn. There's always going to be the potential for further growth, expansion, and evolution of consciousness. It's an ever-ending process. How do you think Source attained its present state of consciousness? It attained it through evolving from the experiences in all the realities. That's how. Source wasn't necessarily born in its present state. It's constantly evolving, and it's doing it through its experiences in the realities that it's creating, including our own. And here's the thing. It turns out that the biggest impetus or stimulus for the evolution of consciousness is challenge, is adversity. How fast do you think we would learn and grow and evolve in a placid, wonderful environment and circumstances? Source doesn't shy away from creating and experiencing realities with challenges and adversity. They are essential for the optimal evolution of consciousness. Yeah, sure, this reality and the personal and collective experiences that we're having in it is frequently not very pleasant and not very fun. There is plenty of challenges, adversity, inequities, and pain and suffering. But it wasn't necessarily meant to be fun. It was meant to be formative. It was meant to stimulate the growth, expansion, and evolution of consciousness. That's what all these realities that we've created and all the experiences we're having within them are for, to expand and evolve our consciousness. Sure, this reality could be much more pleasant than we've thus far created, but that's up to us because we are creating our reality. Yeah, we didn't create the reality construct. We didn't create this environment within which we play out our experiences, both personal and collective. Higher aspects of ourselves and sourced it. But we're creating everything else, our personal and collective experiences within that environment, within that context. What we create upon that stage within this game is our own creation that we're responsible for. We've created the crap that we've thus far experienced because we've descended into deep states of separation consciousness, of egoic consciousness, of victim consciousness. And that's what those states of consciousness creates. But understand that experiencing these states of consciousness and their consequences was an implicit part of the reason why we created this type of reality, why we created separation realities. There is great knowledge and wisdom to be gleaned from experiences within this type of reality. That's why we're here. And it provides an incredible opportunity, the possibility of rediscovering our higher selves, our creatorship, unconditional love, and more. Awakening out of separation consciousness and remembering what we really are is one of the most incredible experiences that consciousness can have. This is why our souls are so avid about choosing to have this experience. This reality construct that we're currently experiencing is known far and wide in the non-physical as one of the most interesting and formative that has ever been conceived of and designed and implemented. And that's why there's a waiting list. There's actually a waiting list of souls that are just dying to get into this game. Sure, from within the experience, behind the veil of unknowing and the veil of forgetting, immersed in the drama, lost in the game, what I'm saying is very hard to appreciate. But I assure you that from the wider non-physical perspective of our higher selves, where we know the bigger picture, all experience is considered valuable. What we label as the good and the bad and the ugly all serve as powerful catalysts for the growth, expansion, and evolution of consciousness. And that's what it's all about. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing all this stuff. That's why we're creating all these realities. That's why we're experiencing all of them. Another extremely important reason why so many souls are so enthusiastic about diving into this reality, despite the apparent challenges, adversity, danger, pain, and suffering, and all that, is because this reality is nowhere near as real as it appears to be when you're immersed in it. This reality and all realities are more like very lucid dreams. They seem very real while you're experiencing them, but in fact, they're simply experiences within your consciousness, very much like a dream. When you die and this experience ends, this is how it seems to your soul. It's like it just woke up from a dream. And just like when we wake up from a dream, your soul knows that the experience was just an experience within its consciousness, and that nothing that happened within that experience could possibly harm what it really is, which of course is pure consciousness, eternal, non-physical, and formless. Of course, when you're immersed in the game, lost in the drama, in the illusion of linear time, it seems oh so real, and it seems to go on for a long time, and often progress seems very slow. But to your soul, when it wakes up, when its experience is over, it seems like it all happened in the blink of an eye. This dream analogy is far more accurate than you can imagine. These experiences that we're having in this and other realities are essentially like lucid dreams within source consciousness, within the mind of God. A more modern analogy that a lot of people find more understandable than the dream analogy is the virtual reality analogy. These realities that we're experiencing are very much like a virtual reality. Is anyone worried about what happens inside of a virtual reality game? No, of course not, because they know it isn't real. They know that nothing that happens within the game can affect anyone at all, because the real them is outside the game. So no matter how immersive and engaging the game is, you can get lost in the gameplay for a little while, but you never forget that you can't be harmed by what's in the game. So you play a lot of different kinds of games, all kinds of crazy games, and people are willing to play any kind of game because it's just a game. And that's essentially what's going on here. Nothing that appears to happen in this reality or any other reality can harm you or anyone else, because the real you, the real us, is consciousness, pure, eternal, non-physical, formless consciousness. And these experiences are essentially virtual experiences, despite how realistic they seem when you're immersed in them. They are purely perceptual experiences of consciousness. The experiences are real, but the props are imaginary. Did you get that? The experiences are real, but that doesn't mean the world and the objects and the things are real. The experiences are real in the sense that they are formative to consciousness, period. That's why we're doing them. So this is why our souls are so avid about participating in this reality, despite the fact that it seems a little scary and challenging when we're in it. And it's why they keep coming back to play more rounds in the game, because they know that it's just a virtual experience and nothing that happens within it can harm them. But more importantly, they know that these experiences are powerful catalysts for the evolution of their consciousness, and that this contributes to the evolution of source consciousness. And that's why we're here. That's why all of this is happening. That's why we're creating this reality. That's why we choose to experience these realities. That's what it's all about. It is extremely liberating to know this. When you truly know this, you will become a fearless player in this game of life, and you will become far more or less judgmental and far more loving and a whole lot of other things. So there's one final, very important and liberating thing to know, and that I touched on briefly earlier. It's that we are creating our reality, our personal and collective reality, with our very own thoughts, beliefs, and more. This is essentially an extremely sophisticated virtual reality where every nuance of our thoughts and beliefs and attitudes and more is subtly and not so subtly attracting every nuance of what appears in our game. We are creating all the mayhem. We are creating all the disharmony, all the competition and conflict, all the pain and suffering. We are creating all of it. And when we wake up and figure out how we're creating all these unpleasantries in our reality, this will be a monumentous moment for us. Because then we're going to be able to create something much better in very short order. We'll be able to create something much more wonderful for ourselves personally and collectively for humanity. This is one of the most interesting aspects of participating in this reality, and why being a part of it is so exciting. It provides us the opportunity to transcend our state of separation, egoic victim consciousness, and rediscover our higher selves and our creatorship, and create the better world that we all want to experience, and take this game to the next level. This is just another reason why so many souls are so attracted to playing in this reality. It is a magnificent and formative reality that you probably will only fully appreciate when your round in this game ends and you go back to the other side and to your wider perspective and your full knowing of what you are and what you're a part of and why we're creating and experiencing all these realities. Well, that's it, guys. That's my perspective on this topic. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. I'd love to hear any of your thoughts or comments or questions. You can leave them in the comment section below the video and the article. Also, next Monday, I'm having a live online question and answer discussion that you can attend if you want to get more interactive. So I'd love to see you there. Until next time, enjoy.